Hi everyone, it's Cindy. Welcome back to Studioloo. I am here with a flip through today of my latest journal that I'm calling Mysterious Secretary or Black Widow ? So this book was kind of inspired by a bunch of different things, and it really centers around being the story of this lady here. So this is an authentic 1901 cabinet card. It is of a woman from the Galt, Ontario area, and I love this outfit that she's wearing. It's so unique and interesting. So I had this old secretary's desk book, and I sort of started to plot this idea in my mind of this woman who was like a secretary, perhaps in a legal office or like a criminal investigation kind of office. And I was inspired by like Agatha Christie and mystery and all those kind of things. Like maybe someone who was a little bit obsessed with true crime before true crime became a popular kind of cultural thing, and also someone who maybe could be like a Black Widow, or she could be a criminal herself, but you don't know that. It's kind of a mystery. She's a very mysterious lady. So this book is a really big book. It's a lovely old book. I'll show you everything in a moment here. So this book has, I believe, 12 signatures in it. I can't remember. I'll put all the details in the Etsy listing. It's a big chunky book. And so I have kept the book itself pretty much the way that it was, with the secretary's desk book here, and I've stitched around the edge a little bit. I've done some hand stitching too, and I've embroidered some spider webs on the edge of the cabinet card, and I've added a bronze brad to the four corners here, and there's some stitching on the edge as well. What you'll see here, we've got some lace up here. These are a pair of handcuffs. Now these are some handcuffs that were used in a film. They're from my husband's collection of weird movie props and stuff. And so they are locked together. I'm not including a key with them, so you can't actually get them on your wrist in any way. So they're harmless in that matter. You can easily buy keys for these on Amazon if you want to, use them in another way or undo them, definitely. But for the purposes of safety, I've decided to include them just as they are locked together. I locked them together. And then the closure is via these metal eyelets and some beautiful gray lace. This book is like a burgundy red. So let me show you how this all kind of works. So you untie the book here with this lace, and then I'll remove the handcuffs so I can show you how I've got them in. Where did I tie them? I should have remembered that before I got started. I've just tied them in between two signatures in here. I just have to take a look-see real quick. You get a little sneaky peek of what's inside here. Let's see. Oh, right here. Okay. I guess I could have just looked from the top the whole time and that would have told me. I tied them in the center. So see here, I've just got them tied there, and then they're just tied in a bow right there. So you can remove this whole entire thing, and it's separate. So they're just going to come as like a spine dangle prop kind of thing. So then this is a better look at the spine itself with the lace, and it's got this pretty embossing here that's original to the book, the Secretary's Desk book. Okay, so let's get into this big book. So I kept the inside pages simple but beautiful. These are really pretty shiny floral papers. So both sides are the same. This side you'll see there are brads on all four corners, so those are visible through the book. Sorry for the shine there. These are shiny pages. And at the back I've just got my wax seal and my signature there. So let's jump into the book. Okay. The new Secretary's Desk book. This is the first original page of the book, and I've added this little, this is like an ID card for someone who has committed a crime of shoplifting. And this book was copyright 1959. I left the fold. Somebody like finger folded the front page with the red edging, and I left that there because I thought it was kind of cute. Then some coffee dyed paper. Wallpaper with this tag inside. Some vintage ledger in back. This mysterious woman investigating a crime. Spinster detectives. So this, I've also used a lot of vintage crime books and mystery books. There's one called The Murderess that's all about like women crime and mystery writers from the turn of the century to about the 1980s. And then this is some of my hand-dyed Stormy Ledger paper. This is some posters of women, like inmate identification. Then this is a little text spot. It says, "A quiet place to read," and it's a girl sitting against a gravestone reading in a graveyard. Very up my alley. And then back here, this is actually a page from a cookbook. Was it in the, yeah, it was in the original book. So it wasn't a cookbook, it was the original secretary book. So one of the things about the secretary book is it was kind of like a book of knowledge. So there was some basic information on a bunch of different things. There was an entire dictionary inside. There was like, you know, common knowledge on different things that you'd need to know in business, like, you know, how to write a letter to a politician, or how to do collections, or, you know, how to take correct notes in a meeting, etc. Right? So there was a bunch of that kind of thing. And then also there's a bunch of original pages that were like general knowledge pages. Some are like nature, like here are all the common birds, here are all the common butterflies. So like it was kind of like a book of like everything you need to know as like a woman starting a career at the time. You know, this could have been anywhere from probably the 1920s to the 1950s in that feeling of like women up and coming in the Industrial Revolution. So this is kind of funny. It's quick past the smelling salts. It's a journal card. Gothic ladies keel over at the slightest provocation, such as being left out of the will. What's fascinating is that they never swoon in private. They seem to do it only in front of an audience. To revive them, give them a stiff whiff of a sal volatile, spirits of ammonia. If you've none at hand, don't fret. Just loosen their bodices and wait. They'll come to when they hit the floor. In other words, a prone position will cure them. Usually, a faint is preceded by pallor, cold sweat, and nausea. Then the pulse slows. Next, whoosh, out like a light. This is the vasovagal syncope of the common faint, in which the blood pressure falls, hypertension, and the heart rate slows, bradycardia, precipitously. In rare instances, atropine is needed to bring the subjects round. While they're lying there, you might consider the possibility of concussion, particularly if the floor is bare, or you might muse upon why they were left out of the will in the first place. So then we have another sort of not wanted poster, but like mugshot. Then here we have this tall journal card. So this is dead giveaways, items that'll hang her. So things that give away like a woman criminal. Violet lace finger mitts, a black net garter belt, hoop earrings, a marabou boa, lame cut on the bias, a large hat pin, palazzo pajamas, a velvet snood with a rat inside, 16-button crushed calf gloves, a mouche, skin-tight toreador pants, a cloche with one egret plume, slingbacks, a slit skirt open to the thigh, plunging sateen, pink satin mules, and a peignoir, ooh la la panties, a cocktail apron, crooked seams, and a push-up bra, an ermine chubby, whatever that is, a knit bandeau that won't let her exhale, shoulder pads, a reversible cape, my sin, tigress, taboo, a twin sweater set 2 sizes too small, short shorts and a peekaboo halter, a bloodstained shawl, run-down heels, a fringed hem, chipped nail polish, brass knuckles, the corpse's bathrobe. Very funny. More coffee dyed paper. This is a little like Nancy Drew feeling kind of pocket here with this little journal card inside. Maybe he's wanted for something. And that just tucks in here. Then we have this autopsy report that can be filled out, the Office of the Medical Examiner. More coffee dyed paper with a little Sergeant Goodwin tag at the bottom there. This says Top Secret, and it's another, we have tapioca and turnip soup, so more of those recipes that needed to be known by the secretaries. And then this is, this says Nanny, and it's just this woman standing on the edge of a cliff with an empty stroller, and this was illustrated by, oh goodness, what's his name? Amphigory, Edward Gorey. Sorry, it took me a moment there. There's another Edward Gorey in here somewhere else. Then we have this little pocket here, My Experiences as a Lady Detective by Miss Constance Cox. And then this is really funny. It's like a listing, you know, like this was out of the Mystery Writer's book, and it's like a listing for these houses, maybe for like devious women or something. Sturm and Drang Limited, Dead End, Land's End. 2 escape-proof mansions, both with on-premise mortuary, full-figure crypt, 38 acres to bury a body in, 56 acres of valuable coffin wood. Also to let, midnight viewing only, Bakersville Hall, Black Dudley, Erkeny Castle, Ornham House, Lilac Cottage, Green Gages, and a rather mysterious affair at Styles. And it goes on. There's a few different listings on there, and that's like a large journal card. And then another of the mugshot pages. I coffee dyed them so that you get this cool haze on the back. And then you get more of the, this is more of my Stormy Ledger. Revelations of a Lady Detective, and then another fun coffee dyed paper here. We've got some women who are being, I guess, photographed for mugshots, but they're flappers. And then we've got like a file folder. We have a blood splatter. We have some furniture back here. This is a little tip down folder of like a probably a policeman's desk kind of. Then we have some coffee dyed paper. Agatha Christie, the First Lady of Crime, little tuck spot. This is from the original book. It's about time and dating, table of days between 2 dates. And this is the signed confession. This is actually, I won't read it because it's long, but it's the entry page into the Murderess book, and it's really fun because it's written kind of like a confession, so it's cool. Then we have this little chain of custody folder, and this lovely lady's feet here. You know, maybe that's one of the dead ringer kind of things, right? That you could be known to be a criminal. This is the outside. This is a photography page. It's outside of a prison. And this is inside of a prison. Just a collage page here. And over here we have Mata Hari. And over here we have the cat complex. So this is about the relationship between mystery writer women and cats, and kind of thinking about cats as Watsons. So it's a really nice little write-up. I won't read the whole thing, but it's kind of fun. Then some pink lined stationery. The manuscript, marks used to indicate positions of letters, so all mark making that was done in shorthand writing. And more on that side. Some more hand-dyed paper in this pink shade with some marbling. This is a little envelope flap from a pink envelope, and a little, this is like a weather card. You can see here rain, wind, cloud, visibility, temperature, special features. Some marbled paper. This is some of my Frosty Windows paper. More marbled, and the other side of all these things. The other side of the envelope, the pink paper. Useful information. That's an original page from the Secretary's Desk book. The Carvery, the housewife fights back. In deboning William, is it more efficient to use the 9-inch bread knife or the 8-inch all-purpose knife? As any morgue attendant will tell you, women no longer reach for a vial of poison when they've had just about enough of that so-and-so's behavior, and so on. And then we have some lovely ladies here. Then I included, these were pages from a vintage yearbook. I kind of thought they were fun, like maybe, you know, they were using them to identify someone. This is actually a really fun and relevant ledger. So this is an AP Gold ledger, an authentic vintage ledger page of AP Gold ledgers were actually court cases. So these are all like, you know, this one is Henry B. Ingram vows versus Alan Mamel. And they talk a little bit, each one of them talks about the date and like what the case is about. So it's like a little dictation of all of the court cases that were going on that day on a docket. Some more coffee dyed paper. This is another coffee dyed page, Ladies Private Detective Agency. And wrapped around that with a rusty paper clip is the Midnight Flyer. Bats, Chiroptera, to the Greeks, evolved from a primitive branch of placental animals called Insectivora. The only mammals that can fly, they have brown eyes and fur to match, though some of them look like they've been at the henna bottle. The largest bat weighs 900 grams, and so on. It's all about bats and talks a little about vampires and mystery writing. And then this is a Tim Holtz page. I really liked this kind of feel for this book with the marbled paper and the graph paper. These are some lady detectives here, stitched on a book page for a tuck spot on a collaged vintage paper kind of page. And this is like a plate, appetizer, stool, pigeon's tongue, soup, puree of telltale heart, entree, cracked ribs flambe, delicately garnished with brass knuckles, dessert, blood pudding, from the Murderess book. And this is really funny, the Drop Dead Look. Mask, missing hat pin, choker, microdot, concealed weapon, poison ring, pug-nosed revolver. And then this is just a nice kind of manila page, Murder at Blackburn Hall. It's a little book, tuck spot on a vintage stamp page. And this is interesting. So, police artist's rendering of Detective Castoir following description supplied by the eyewitness report. The real Detective Castoir, the witness incorrectly remembered how she parted her hair, mistakenly gave her a dimple in her chin. Talks a little bit, I think, about, you know, how eyewitness is not so good for identifying people. This is just a tea-dyed page. This is a little, it's from like headlines from a newspaper. So you see here, Sails Through the Air, The Secret for Years. This is just kind of like a half headline page. And over here I've added a pocket to it. And it has advice for would-be spy writers. First, read the good ones, and read a lot of them. Eric Ambler, John Le Carre, Gavin Lyle, all of the McDonalds, no matter how they're spelled, Graham Greene, particularly This Gun for Hire, Maugham and His Secret Agent. Then go off someplace and write your book. Do it to entertain yourself. I only write what interests me. I don't know why more women haven't taken a crack at the big thriller. The only two authors of any prominence I can think of are Helen McInnes and Mary Stewart. I would welcome a good woman spy writer. I'd read her, and the field's wide open. So that's kind of cool. And then more pink stationery. This little pocket here. So this is on, this is a page from a typing manual, like how to learn to type. It's about typing the table, which, you know, is relevant to secretary line of work. And then this is a little kind of mug shot that's stapled onto this pocket. And inside we have the window shade ploy. So this is a folding journal card. If the upstairs window shade is down in the afternoon, it means the lady of the house is being mugged in her own bedroom and the perpetrator is not anxious for the neighbors to observe his actions. If it's pulled all the way up at midnight, it means the jewel thief forgot his flashlight and by the glow of the street lamp is trying to decide if the lady's diamonds are carbon or paste. And so on. It talks about the different things that could be going on in a house based on the window shades. More of that typing book. Talks about power of attorney, open tablets, and more pink stationery. Here we have a pocket with this lovely lady detective here. I can't remember all their names, like the Miss Marples and all of that. I'm really bad at like identifying these kind of things. Flying machine invented by the Wright brothers without aid of balloon or gas bag. So that's the other side of that headline. And then this is a little snippet of the vintage yearbook, and I kind of circled her like maybe she's suspect. Over here we have Central Intelligence Agency, United States of America. Call control immediately. The CIA public information number is 703-351-7676. Memorize and burn this page. Another vintage stamp page and a manila page. And then here we have this lady serving up a devious looking cocktail. Fingerprints here, and this is a journal card just showing someone's legs at the bottom of the stairs there. Someone's nose is out of joint, as is her toe, her ankle, her hip, her shoulder, her clavicle. You have to have a sense of humor for these things. And then this is the cutest picture of like these two. They're like spying on somebody. It's a little tech spot, and inside we have the District Attorney's Office Homicide Bureau about Marie Castoire, alias the Redhead. So it's a little note, a little journal card. And another page that's been coffee dyed. It's a hotel receipt with some keys, coffee dyed paper, and more AP Gold ledger. Some more cases. And this is one of the original pages from the book of the birds of North America. And a cute little piece of stationery. And this is a pocket, The Truth About Man by a Spinster. And inside that pocket we have this little journal card that like a little folded journal card. It's made from the leftover paper that I used for the end pages. I just love the paper. It's really pretty. And this is a little write-up about Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, the movie with Marilyn Monroe and Jane Russell, and you will see the other side of that page a little later. I just thought that was an iconic women's kind of film, you know. Miss Frances Baird Detective, a passage from her memoirs, little book cover. Compounding and Division. So this is an original book page from the Secretary's Desk book. This is a journal card. The Secrets of the Privet Hedge. Amanda buried Matthew beneath it. Trisha blackmailed Daniel beside it. Estelle choked Bernard behind it. Then we have this little tuck spot. And this says Sweet Danger by Marjorie Allingham. It's a little book cover, mystery writer's book cover journal card. And this is a quote from Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Do I believe in ghosts? I have seen too many to believe in them. Another mugshot page. The Mystery Wedding. Someone murdered plus a clue. Something stolen. Men in blue. And then we have this lady detective. She's listening up against the wall with a glass. I remember trying to do that one time when I was a kid, like here, seeing it on TV and trying to listen in on my parents. It was very funny. Another manila page, and this has fabric here that's a little flip out. It's the same fabric that I used to back the back of the spine with. It's this pretty like floral, and this is Executing a Curtsy. So it's all about how to do a curtsy. And then this is more of the AP Gold ledger. And on this manila page, this is an interesting, like, several pages kind of cut out from the Murderess book. And so this is about the wardrobe of, like, these kind of women. So Harriet's wardrobe, Holloway prison blue stocking, beach detective. So, like, you know, dress for the job you want, I guess. Security device, Oxford engagement professional. The Duchess of Denver's attire, Going Up to Town ensemble, Miss Climpson's regalia. There's lots to read here about these things. Lady Peter's wedding, trousseau extravaganza, the prickly honeymoon, Ouija outfit, jury duty. So it's like about different outfits that are worn by, you know, people who are in the crime writing or crime kind of world. And there's lots to read on there. And there's writing space on some of the pages because I backed them with coffee dyed graph paper. Another mugshot page that's been coffee dyed. More coffee dyed paper. The Lady and the Arsenic by Joseph Shearing. Another book page cover. Compounding and Division. That's an original page from the book. And this is like two lady detectives having breakfast and chatting over, you know, some kind of mystery in a diner. And that's a journal card. More from the original book page. And more coffee dyed paper. And there we have Marilyn and Jane from Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. And on this side, these lovely folks. I just thought this was kind of like timely to the feel of the book and like to the interests of the woman. More little stationery. And this is an original book page of the American Fresh and Saltwater Fish. This is another kind of crime page, digital, Pinkerton's National Detective Agency. This is an old ledger page that has the months across the side there. And then here is name, post office, and county. Another original vintage page from a yearbook, 1962. Coffee dyed paper, letters, compositions, and tone. And this is from the original Secretary's Desk book. Coffee dyed paper. This is also original to the Secretary book, American Tree Leaves, Flowers, and Fruits. More coffee dyed paper. Original book page on composition and tone. More coffee dyed paper and yearbook page. More of the ledger paper. And this is like a clipboard. It's been coffee dyed. This says Kiss of Death and has this kiss mark here. It's from the Murderess book. My Trademark by Elsa Lanchester. So that's the actress, the Bride of Frankenstein. She has a little write-up there. And then this is a little tab that says Forensics Lab Report. It's actually one of a ton of folders that I have that I got from an auction of a movie set where I got a bunch of antique books and folders that were all kind of crime related. That's part of why I've been saving things to make this crime journal, because of that auction. The Girl Who Couldn't Say No. So that's a film from 1969. And then the other side of that page, also about film. And we have this little pocket here of a lady detective. And this is another weird piece of ephemera. So this is an Alberta Attorney General, Provincial Court of Alberta fine for $400. This is the receipt, and it says on the back, impaired, fine, May of 81. So I think in my, I have like a series of flip through Fridays that I do a flip through video on the life of this man. I believe his name is Sean Doucette, and I have all of his things, like all of his photo albums from his baby album to his death certificate. He died in the 80s, and he lived, or actually the 90s maybe, he lived like a wild life in like his 70s and 80s. And so yeah, I have all of his things, and that's one of his things that he received these fines. The Winston Dictionary. So this is from the original book as well. This was the dictionary that was inside the Secretary's book, and I've added this little this woman detective reading here. And that says on the back the copyright is 1959. Another woman on the phone, she's a detective. And then another mugshot page and coffee dyed paper. A little Nancy Drew The Mystery Game. So this is one of those like plastic games that you could buy that would have like the shooter. Like I kind of collect a few of these. I have some of them in my home. I don't have that one. It's a really cool one. It was kind of like a pinball sort of. And then we have Chantilly soup back here. So this was some of the cookbook pages. And this says, ladies, when in need of legal or confidential advice, why not confer with one of your own sex? Established 1890, Miss Cora M. Strayer's private detective agency. And then you open it up, and this is another, this is an FBI wanted poster for Paul Flanders. This is also from that movie set, from the props that I got. So yeah, I have a few of these. Most of them are very modern, but I tried to include a couple in here because I love them, but I didn't want to put too modern things in here. This is a little steno book tuck spot, and this journal card here. I felt like he could be a love interest maybe. He's so handsome. And that's a scan of one of my original cabinet cards. This is from a book called The Broad Highway. I made a journal from this book, and this is one of the original pages. And there's a murder, a 500-pound reward, kind of a write-up of something. And then this has a little tip down of this lady detective here. And this is another one of those headline pages. So in the center, we have this. First wireless press message across the Atlantic. So it's from the Times, and it's just an old news clipping. And then we have this lady detective here with her magnifying glass. And inside we have this little pink paper, and this is another original piece of ephemera from the Sean Doucette collection, and this is for Colleen Elizabeth Doucette. It's an appearance notice from the criminal court. What is this about? Okay, so it's from April of 1982. The offense of possession of a narcotic, contrary to Section 3(1), was in possession of 3 vials of hashish oil. So Colleen got in trouble, and she received this appearance notice. Yes, I do have a lot of weird things. I know. Manila paper. This is a belly band of this lady detective here at a diner table. And inside we have this Nancy Drew detective. Looks like a movie poster for the Warner Brothers. And then also inside we have this. And this is another movie prop from the Philadelphia Police Department for Petra G and Pam D. Police were called to the scene, collected evidence, but they did not believe they found anything that would identify either the attacker or the vigilante. Because of the darkness, Officer Lee could not recall either man's features with certainty. Officer Garcia requests that anyone with information on either man call the Philadelphia Anonymous Hotline. And there's some things that are written in pen here. So this was from the movie itself. I don't know what film this was from, but lots of crime stuff. And this is from an art book. It says New Zealand, The Little Bear's Tale. And there's all this kind of stuff. It says coroner's report, and it has a description of injuries, but then it has this sort of celestial stuff here. And then we have a couple cool things in here. So this Communication Control System Inc. New York City will custom make ladies' bulletproof vests capable of stopping a .357 Magnum from $250. Allow 3 weeks for delivery. And then this, the Identikit. Introduced in 1959, the Identikit is a series of transparent cards, each depicting a face shape, a certain type of nose, chin, mouth, dimple, and so forth. So it's kind of like for officers, an identity kit. I won't read all of it because this video will get very long. This is a big journal. Another mugshot page, coffee dyed paper, and a little stationery. This is a mugshot book, a 19th century mugshot book. This was cut out of one of those information books on a certain topic that are designed to teach kids all about the topic. I can't remember. It's DK, I think, Discovery something. So this is actually a picture. After photography's invention in the mid-19th century, one of its most important uses was to allow police to keep visual as well as written records of criminals. This is one of the earliest examples of a mugshot book from the City of London Police, and so on. And then this is one of the dictionary pages with the little vintage paper clip up top. And this is a little journal tag here. I like added some fabric, and I love this woman. She's looking at him, and he's kind of spinning his face, or to kind of catch what she's saying. And then clipped over here on this is a vintage rusty paper clip. We have this, and this is a journal card. If a borrower loses a book, is it fitting that she lose her life as well? What if she scrawls the murderer's name on the title page? Isn't that worse? And so it's all these lady mystery writers sitting in a library together. And then this is another of the pages of that movie book, Our Modern Maidens, The Taming of the Shrew. And then another page from that book there. It's of a marriage of somebody, I'm not sure. Some coffee dyed paper. And then we have a lady detective here with her magnifying glass. This is from a vintage book, and it was for telephone numbers, and it has this nice pink around the lines, and a calendar for 1987-88 on back. Pink stationery. Some lady detectives having a chat here. Little tip out. And this is warming the pot. Cold tea is an abomination. To keep the brew from getting chilled, Pattinson Baldwin Limited, Alloa, Scotland, suggests you knit a tea cozy for the pot. This design was first presented in the 1930s. This is a whole knitting pattern for tea cozy, for this tea cozy. Coffee dyed paper, a gold lace paper with this lady detective on the phone, and this says, "Bang goes another pair of knuckle dusters." That's a little comic. And then down here we have psychic detection. Estelle Roberts was a famous English psychic detective who worked with the police. If given a victim's personal objects from the crime, Roberts could sometimes imagine the crime scene in her head, even seeing the criminal's face. And then this is actually a Tim Holtz page, just a vintage photo that I really liked. And then I made a pocket over here from the yearbook. And then we have Revelations of a Lady Detective journal card. It's on some marbled paper. This is some fun tea-dyed lined paper. This is an original book page of the common seashells and skeletons of sea animals and North American wildflowers. Another coffee-dyed page with a little mugshot down here. Another mugshot pocket on the back of that Tim Holtz paper. And this is the guide for the tension prone. And it's like a heart Valentine box of pills: Thorazine, Haldol, Elavil, Tranxine, Stelazine, and so on. It's like different, I guess it would be like a poisoner's Valentine box. And more of the vintage photo. Another manila page and gold lace. Coffee dyed paper. This is a little collage coffee dyed paper tuck spot. 20 reasons not to trust an Englishwoman. She'll escort you down the tube. She'll drown you in tea. She'll knit you an ascot with a blood stain on it. She'll bludgeon you with a frozen leg of lamb, then overcook the evidence. It's very funny. It goes on. And then over here, this illustration of this mad woman. Pink stationery. The other side of that calendar, and more of my Frosty Windows paper. Mrs. Kerner, Annette Kerner, Britain's most famous female private detective, worked from the early 1920s to the 1950s. She became known as the Queen of Disguise and was equally convincing as a waitress in a criminal's cafe as she was a socialite while thwarting a jewel theft. She once posed as a drug addict to catch a gang of opium dealers. Another mugshot page. This is a campground kind of map. And over here, Maria Manning, with the help of her husband, buried her prey beneath the floorboards. And in that pocket we have, okay, now pass the bat's blood. And that's a fun little comic. More coffee-dyed paper. Madeline Smith, a Glaswegian, lived within an area called the Royal Mile of Murder. And then that's on an original book page about obscure words. On Becoming an Adventuress, Evelyn Herzog, journal card. This is an original page from a ledger book. It's got the Mick, it has the A to Z, and I use the Mick. That has a nice fabric kind of binding to it. And this is a little comic that I thought was really funny. Good morning, Kirk, and Kirk. And it's a secretary, right? So it's a secretary's book. And that's just the fun other side of the page. That's the other side of that vintage Mick book. Keep calm and look for a secret passageway. And it's on an original book page about metric equivalents of domestic measures. And inside we have this little comic, Dump Those, They're Harmless. And it's poison mushrooms. And this is Nurturing. Mary, Mary, quite contrary, how does your garden grow? With toxic weeds and lethal seeds and corpses neath your hoe? Susie, Susie, oh so choosy, you've gone from bad to worse. First mandrake root, then rhubarb shoot, you're clogging up the hearse. Helen, Helen, crafty felon, you case the potting shed. For heavy rakes and pointed stakes, will someone soon be dead? And those are both journal cards. tables of weights, measures, and standards, coffee dyed page, a little collage pocket here with an evidence tag, or a toe tag rather, and this is some of the yearbook, and this is more of the Tim Holtz page, and this is a little collage tag. This is Women of the Beat, so this is the British women's policewoman's uniform, and then little descriptions of all the things. That's also from that book of like the DK education book on like crime and justice or something. Little time log tag on that campground map. Mysterious footnote. More of the mugshots, coffee dyed paper, more frosty windows paper, more mugshots, a little vintage page on motors. I felt like that was kind of like something that she could have for like investigating some case. And then this is a little folded secretary kind of page. It's a clues, and that says dead matter. So it's like a filing cabinet. Journal card that just folds and has a rusty paper clip holding it in place. Signs and symbols, that's from the original book. Astronomy, medicine and pharmacy, all sorts of things. Math, electricity and radio. This is a vintage ledger page. Mummy's curse. May you someday grow up to have a daughter just as ungrateful as you are. And then this little journal card here of her. And this is some of my dyed paper. And this is the shoplifter's floor plan of Harrods. So it's the whole of Harrods, ground floor, first floor. So it says ground floor, antique jewelry, silver, first floor, Baccarat crystal, furs, second floor, Royal Dalton and Wedgwood boutiques, third floor, fine arts collection, fourth floor, Harrods Bank. So it's the shoplifter's guide. And then over here, both those pages tip out. And over here we have What's the Little Woman Been Up To? And it's about Louisa May Alcott and her connection to crime writing. And then this is a fold out page. This is from a large ledger book. And then this little tuck spot, Florence Maybrick used arsenic treated flypaper as a beauty aid. And this is a signs and symbol page from the original book. And this is The Crimes Against Snow White. Fraudulent accosting. The wicked stepmother presents Snow White with ribbons and laces her into a faint. Attempted murder. The wicked stepmother gifts Snow White with a lethal comb. I love that the comb is a bat. But yeah, that's a big journal card that's just a piece of stationery really that folds and tucks in here. Alphabets of foreign languages. Coffee dyed paper, a little clipped on woman bitten, two men beaten and row over rent. Little clipping on that old motors page. This says garden shenanigans. And then here we have a large journal card. Well done, Cynthia. It was Deadly Nightshade. And so that's another comic. Quite funny. And that just clips on there with a rusty paper clip on a mugshot page. Out damned spot, I say. And so these are like blood spots. Collaging and vintage ledger paper. The Perfect Secretary. This is a clustery kind of pocket. So it's got a tuck spot here for The Secret in the Attic, Nancy Drew. And then back here, we've got the Role of the Secretary. That's an original book page. And this is such a cool photograph. So, future applicants for Earl Stanley Gardner's typing pool. Mr. Gardner treated his secretaries well. He married one of them and used 3 of them as the prototype for Della Street. Miss Street, however, did not marry her boss, Perry Mason. She turned him down flat 5 times in a row. He wanted her to quit her job. So, these are all like women who, you know, tried out for the secretary roles, I think, with Perry Mason. Underwood Elliott Fisher exhibit, New York World's Fair, and they're all sitting on this giant Underwood typewriter. It's just very cool. It's like a big piece of stationery. The Role of the Secretary, that's from the original book. Coffee dyed paper. This is a comic page. I love your husband, Louise. He's very male without being macho. And then it's the most assertive thing I've ever done. And she broke a lamp. and another mugshot page, a woman of mystery, and then we have a little lab report tab here, and another of these finds for this poor Doucette. This was $250, busted, Journey concert, April 25th, 1982. Isn't that so funny? Voice recognition. So this is a little snippet, little journal card about voice recognition. And over here we have a text spot. In a way, we're a menage a trois, you, me, and Agatha Christie. And then this journal card inside about lineups and how they're used in criminal cases. Another mugshot page and another comic page. So this is the famous Sarah of the mustard mayonnaise clam dip. Would you be a dear and fetch me a toad? And then coffee-dyed paper, another roll of the secretary page, has a little write-up about mental outlook. Private eyes that never sleep. In 1850, U.S. Detective Alan Pinkerton established the organization that has become the world's oldest privately owned detective agency. It's still going strong. The term private eye came from the Pinkerton trademark, the words, "We never sleep," written under an open eye. And clipped on there we have this, and this is really cool. So sculptor Lynn Kramer measures Dame Agatha from the tip of her little gray cells to the top of her beads. Miss Christie sat for 2 caliper appraisals and approximately a dozen mugshots. And some coffee dyed paper. Let's pull it out a little. Vintage ledger. The Man in the Brown Suit, Agatha Christie. Just a little glued down. The Smileys. Rachel the elder was inherited. Rachel the younger expects to. And she looks like she's up to something no good, right? And this is like a fun lady detective page. Wallpaper pocket. And this is funny. These are the differences between real nanny and mystery nanny. Midnight feeding, midnight prowling, warms bottles, poisons decanters, sings lullabies, sings, rocks the cradles, rocks the boat, and so on. And it has these nannies here. And that just tucks in there. We have a little bullet and fingerprint down here. Another original page from the book, Flags of the Leading Nations of the World. Coffee dyed paper. This is a little telephone memo pad like back in the day that we used to use. This is some writing from this pink, I don't know what this is about, but it's interesting, from the pink stationery. This is a little Lady Detectives tuck spot, compounding and division. That's an original book page. The Infinite Joys of Blackmail, Skullduggery, and that's like a bookmark style journal card. Till Death Do Us Part. We have some fabric stitched on both sides here. This one has a little doll on it. And in here, okay, so these are original book pages from the book. Carolyn Quine, Alice Detective, and this is How to Build a Secret Drawer, a whole plan for building a secret drawer. And then over here we have first this, which is like a journal about, I think I better have a look around, more later. It's like a Lady Detectives kind of journal. There's a teacup there, and that goes in here. And then 221B, Hugo's Companions, the Sherlock Holmes Club. So this is all about the Sherlock Holmes Club. Diction and Idiom, more pink stationery. The other side of that telephone memo. Coffee dyed paper, letters, composition, and tone from the original book. This is a pocket with a collage number 2 there, made from the vintage yearbook. Dear Diary, I hope nobody reads this. That's another of the pages of like Lady Detective journaling. And then a little mugshot there. Another coffee dyed page of Lady Detective evidence and stuff. Detective yarns. This was like a comic book cover, like a dime story. This is a music page with lace down the side. Murder etiquette. Picking a victim, visiting a corpse, dispatching an enemy. That's from a crime book, vintage crime book. It's a piece of stationery. Over here we have this little tuck spot. Where have all the secretaries gone? And it just has this inside, a little cutout of the vintage yearbook. Another Lady Detective coffee dyed page. More of that table of the weather. Then this is another Lady Detective depicted on the pink stationery. Another original book page on letters. Coffee dyed paper. Vintage ledger. Coffee dyed paper with a little Lady Detective down here. And I added some fun bits of masking tape here and there just because it looks cool. Copy of proof after corrections have been made. The manuscript, so these are proofreading marks from the original book. Pink stationery, more of that log page. Agatha Christie, another coffee dyed page. And then we end with this music paper, sort of, it's like a little tab page, and I've added on here, assault in the first degree, the wicked stepmother administers a toxic substance without Snow White's knowledge or consent. So more crimes against Snow White. And then we end with my seal there. So that is the book. And I hope you enjoyed this long flip through. And I hope you liked this journal as a concept. I think it's a lot of fun, something a little bit different, and I'm pretty excited about it. I was happy to finally get it made. I've been like trying to get it made for a while now, so I'm glad that I finally got there. If you're seeing this video, that means that this journal has been posted to my Etsy shop, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining me, and we will talk again very, very soon. Bye for now.